everybody. I'm Laura Avery. I am a mom. I am not a PT. I am not an MD. I have no designation on me, but I'm a parent. I have 2 children. Here's my husband. My oldest daughter, Addie, is age 16, and she's typically about her, we would say. And then my younger daughter, Kate, is 13, and she has spastic diplegia, cerebral palsy. So, gosh, what about you guys? Give me an idea of, like, how old are your kids? 0 to 7. Raise your hands if you have low ones. Okay, so most of you. Over 7? 7 to 10? Okay, actually, they have a good mix. I think it was about when Kate was. So Kate has an older sister, and I don't know what your mix-up is with your kiddos, but you know, I went through with her older sister the soccer, the dance lessons, the this, and this. And with Kate, my younger daughter, I mean, like all of you guys, you spend so much time in medical appointments, so much time at the therapist, so much time figuring out, okay, how are we going to do school?
Where?
You know, at some point, and I'm just going to give you my perspective. This is just my story and a lot of information on Camp in Motion. At some point, I kind of thought, when is she going to get to just be a kid? I mean, she needs to just have some fun. Like, how am I going to find a soccer program for Kate? And, you know, I guess that was about 8-10 years ago. There are a lot more programs now, but even 8 years ago, it was kind of hard to find a place for Kate to go play sports or do dance. And we were patients of Dr. Jan's. We live in Austin, Texas, just down the road. But ironically, my best friend is a pediatrician in St. Louis. And so she kept saying, you've got to get up here and see Dr. Jan. And we became patients of Dr. Jan, and Dr. Jan kept telling me, you have got to bring Kate to Camp Independence. And finally, one year, Kate was about 9, and I finally decided, okay, we're going to go up to St. Louis. We're going to stay with our friends for a week, and I'm going to take Kate to camp. And what happened was truly amazing, not only for her, but for me. I mean, Kate, sure, she had a blast playing all the sports, but her self-confidence coming out of there was amazing. And it really set the bar higher for me too, because I really understood, wow, she needs to get out there and do these things just like every other kid. So it gave me, you know, I came away going, I've got to figure out how to do this in Austin. You know, I don't want to have to go up to St. Louis all the time. We need to bring this to Austin. So that's how the story of Camp in Motion got going. It took me a while, but I started working with Dell Children's Medical Center, reached out to some people that I knew there, and got the idea of brewing. And they brought in the YMCA. We have representatives from both here today. We have Valley Martin from the YMCA, who's going to be able to talk to you about that part of it. And then Dawn has a kiddo at camp, and she also works with Dell Children's. So let me play a video for you that kind of shows you what Camp in Motion is about. It's modeled after Dr. Jan's Camp Independence in St. Louis, which I don't know if you guys have heard about her summer camp there, but that was the idea behind Camp in Motion. And we launched last year. We launched last year a 1-week pilot project in Austin. We had 11 kiddos. And this year we had 4 weeks of camp. And how many kiddos? 32 kiddos. So we're growing and we're learning and figure out how to do it. And it's a blast. Is it working?
look at the experts in our community that can provide the support and the infrastructure to build on what the YMCA is currently doing in our communities.
A lot of people assume that if you can't do it, you don't want to do it, but that's not always true. Even if it's an adult or a child, we still want the opportunity to be able to see kids. Yesterday would have been something for the first time. And it was a little thing, but I do how you really want.
It's such a relief to be able to come to a place where you know your child is going to be understood and not only welcomed, but they're going to thrive, have fun, and develop that self-confidence that everyone wants for their child. It's an amazing feeling to be able to bring your child to Camp in Motion and know that it's going to be awesome for them and for you. So let me see if I can figure out how to get this back to the presentation. So a lot of people will talk about the physical benefits of camp. I mean, those are pretty obvious. And Chris Scott from Dell Children's couldn't be here today, but she and I talked a lot about this before me coming to present. You know, so from the physical therapist perspective, she was saying that every kiddo that went to camp met goals in one area or another, like endurance, balance, increased strength. The really cool thing is that we benchmark the kids and do an assessment the first day of camp. They do a 6-minute walk test. They do all kinds of little benchmarking the first day of camp. And then the last day of camp, they do it again. So you can actually set goals for kids during camp, so it's therapeutic. They work with the therapist throughout. It's group therapy, but sometimes the therapists do get time to work with kiddos one-on-one. They always get time to work with kiddos one-on-one, sprinkled throughout the week and throughout the day. So they're actually working on their therapy goals, and it's kind of therapy disguised as fun. That's the coolest thing. And I think one of Chris's big points was something that you pointed out in your speech, Gail, was that she said after camp it was really amazing to see how motivated the kids are in this environment. You know, it's the chance to get them out of the therapy gym and into the real world with their peers and friends, and they're super motivated. And we use buddies. We use typically developing peers as buddies, so siblings, friends, and we try to pair the kids up with someone that they get along well with and they're motivated by. Or we'll mix up the buddies throughout the week so they get to meet lots of new kids. I think, and there are also tons of, you know, social and emotional benefits. You can imagine, you know, the friendships that evolve, meeting other kiddos. One of the big things, Kate came out of Camp Independence that year and said, "Mom, oh my gosh, I met a new friend. Her name's Kelly. And she has CP too." You know, I mean, in our community, Kate doesn't see a lot of kiddos at her school or in our community with CP, so it was a great bonding time for her to figure out, wow, I'm not the only one, you know? Let me just give you some parent perspectives. These are, did we crash? Oh. Hey, what's going on? Okay. Parent perspective. These are from some of the parents of different kids at camp. I wanted you to kind of hear what they had to say. The older young lady up top was a 16, 17-year-old in high school and was really kind of hesitant to come to camp in the first place. And her mom just said and told me afterwards how important camp has been to her the past 2 summers. She tried dance at camp and then went out into the community and started taking dance lessons, which was huge for her at her age because it got her out of the house, off the computer, off the TV, got her active, and really kind of helped her build her self-esteem again. And then she came back to camp this summer, and she's really now kind of acting as a mentor for the younger kids. So it flipped that role for her where she can build self-esteem by helping to mentor younger kiddos with CP. Again, something you don't really expect going into that, coming out of it. Then another child, Dawn's son, had a great time. I was one of his buddies at camp. It was awesome. 4 years old, so enthusiastic about trying every sport. And I think, you know, you see here, you want to speak to this?
Yeah, it was awesome. He loved it. He tried tennis and karate, and I had signed him up for basketball through the Y that was going to start after camp, thinking, okay, he's in his walker. He's somehow we're going to figure out how he can stand and I hold him in place and he can throw a ball. And through the camp, they actually organized for us to borrow a wheelchair. I never even thought about that as an option. And that made him completely engage with every other kid in a wheelchair playing basketball for the first time. It was awesome. So,
And he got to do it by himself.
yes.
Which is cool.
Exactly, that independence piece, again, coming into play where they can develop that little independence that will just propel them along. Let's see. Okay, this is another kiddo who first time at camp, and the mom says that gave him the opportunity to try new sports that he had always heard of but had never dreamed of playing. And he came home during the camp week and would share everything with his parents. And the other thing, they sleep really, really well because they're exhausted, so they sleep super well. But the best part was seeing Ben and his brother Josh, playing basketball in the driveway a few weeks later. Like the kids had never, you know, been out playing basketball together in the driveway because it just hadn't happened. And she said, now they've gotten a basketball goal in the driveway and the two siblings are out playing together because Ben was really exposed to basketball and figured out, wow, I can play basketball. And his brother figured it out too. So another benefit. Volunteers. We are really, you know, largely dependent on volunteers and buddies. And this is my daughter and her volunteer the first summer. She got involved because she was interested in a career in medicine, and I think once she got to camp, it really, really reinforced how interested she was in medicine and maybe working with special populations. And the thing that this reminds me of is Kate still, after camp, formed that strong relationship, and now she goes back to the YMCA and she does swim lessons with her buddy. And it's not an adaptive sports instructor. It's not someone who had formal training, but kind of like you spoke to, you know, reach out, look around, find resources in the community. Sometimes the best person to work with your child doesn't have to be formally trained, but just you need to build that relationship and the parent can help coach them on what to do. And I'd love for Valley to come up now and talk to you a little bit about the YMCA. Through camp, I've actually learned how committed the YMCA is to serving special populations, and they're doing a lot to try to include our kiddos. So why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about that piece?
So my name is Valley Martin, and I work with the YMCA of Austin, and I had the great privilege to work on Camp in Motion with Dell Children's Medical Center in Laura. And just to tell you a little bit about the Y, we are more than a gym. And although volleyball and basketball was invented at the Y, we are all about serving our communities, whomever and wherever that may be. In thinking about programming for your children, it may be a little bit easier than you anticipate. At the YMCA, our mission is truly to be more intentional, to be more inclusive, and serve you guys. We found at the beginning of looking into Camp in Motion and other adaptive programmings, it seemed a little daunting on my end to start these programs, but really became pretty easy. We found out that while many programs that we were already running required a specific level of ability, a lot of our programs can incorporate a varied amount of ability and mobility with little effort. So just picking up the phone and calling your YMCA or walking to a YMCA and asking to speak to a director, we want you at our door and we want to incorporate you into our programs. We may need help figuring out how best to do that, like with her child, figuring out how to play basketball when he's in a walker. I didn't have the answer to that, and I don't think she had the answer to that, but we knew someone else to call on to help us find that answer. So I would love for you guys to come to our door. So don't feel intimidated by going to the Y. We are here for our community, and we are here for you guys. I know you have Ys all over Dallas and Fort Worth and Houston and Austin. If you need any help connecting to any one of those Ys, I'm out at a table in the lobby. I'm happy to make the first call for you or to hook you up with somebody. But if you walk into a YMCA and ask what programs are for your child and they say there isn't any, ask how you can help to deliver a program that is not only inclusive for your child, but other children in the community, just like Laura did. We want to incorporate you guys, so any kind of help I can give, I am here to help. Lead the way. I'll do whatever I can for you guys, but believe me, we are there and we want to serve, so knock on our doors and ask how your child can participate in our programs. Yeah.
So do y'all have like a Camp in Motion starter package that we could take to our local YMCA to get Dallas? Because I mean, Dallas has some great YMCA's with some great children's hospitals around, but we don't have something like that here. And to do a day camp in Austin is a little difficult.
It is, and one of Dr. Jan's staff are here, and they are looking at hopefully bringing a camp like this to Dallas. Dr. Jan's camp anyway. So
Gail was just saying that
yes.
you're trying to bring the camp to the Dallas metro area.
Our goal is to try to bring it next year. So I like the idea of the first year starter program. Our goal is to get it here next year.
Right.
When's Atlanta?
I see franchise rights available coming out. You can talk to a lawyer.
Make a connection for you in Atlanta or anywhere else.
My question is, how is it funded? Do we need to come up with fundraising to help support it? How is it sustainable? Or how are you doing it in Austin?
Our program, because we're including group therapy in camp, we are partnering with Dell Children's and they're sending therapists out. We actually build an insurance company for funding. So don't let financial problems be a barrier to come to camp, because the Y also offers scholarships, and I believe Dell Children's does as well. So
what even with the adaptive sports, like if they were going to do like an adaptive basketball team or something like that, would there need to be funding support for that as well?
Are you talking about if you walk into a Y and ask to start a program? The YMCA's all over the country have financial assistance, and they have dollars set aside to start programs.
Okay.
If you come in with ideas, we are all about that, because I can't come up with all the ideas. You know, another important thing is like her son. We didn't start a new adaptive basketball program for him to participate. He joined in our regular league, and we figured out a way to modify and adapt it so that he can not only participate, but feel successful in that participation. And hopefully that's what happened. But so it's not always about having to create a brand new program. There's a ton of programs we're already running that you should be able to walk in and figure out together, how can your child participate? And it's a team effort. We need your ideas. Yes.
What age did y'all start Camp in Motion? What's the youngest?
We did 4 and 5s for half-day camp, and then 6 on up to 21 for all-day camp. And that's what we're going to do again for next summer. And there's flyers out there, and my business cards out there. If you want to email me, I'm happy to actually make a call to your Y for camp, or should be the one to help start camp in Dallas. But any programs or any connections.
So coming soon to an area.
Yeah, exactly.
My brother is a membership director in DC. And I sent him the flyer. He's like, what is this? Can I give him your contact
Yes, absolutely.
information and maybe he can do something? Because he just recently had an older woman with CP come in and using a wheelchair, and luckily she got him, but he called me, he's like, what can I tell her? But
yeah, absolutely.
So I would love for him to.
And it's not, we
there.
don't just do children at the Y either. I mean, it's adults too. We're talking about Camp in Motion, but your children grow up and we want to serve them as well. So yeah, that would be great.
Another thing with my son, we just went to our local T-ball team, and we didn't tell them that he couldn't talk and he couldn't walk or anything like that. We just signed him up and we're like, here you go. We'll help you. And for 3 seasons he played T-ball.
And really, it's all about the health.
Yeah.
Because we sometimes sometimes feel intimidated that we're gonna mess up, or we don't know what your child needs, so helping us. Is there any other questions?
I had a little
Yeah.
nugget to share with you
Yeah.
all. There's an organization in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's called Rise Adaptive Sports. And if you're not familiar with that, please go to their website, Rise, R-I-S-E, Adaptive Sports. They offer a whole range of sporting opportunities for people of all ages and abilities, from water sports, water skiing, jet skiing, kayaking, sailing, to a wheelchair motocross. A lot of kids doing that. We have adaptive soccer, basketball, rugby. Ooh, what else? There's a lot.
Aren't they doing the skateboard parks now too?
That's the wheelchair motocross.
Is that the
yeah.
wheelchair motocross?
That's so they get skateboards and there's got the little kids, their helmets, and they're going down the ramps and they're doing flips.
So that's completed.
Rise Adaptive Sports.
I have a more general question. So my son is very mildly affected, and we have, as he gets older, we have found that he doesn't fit anywhere. We've tried an adaptive dance class, and he was bored with the pace, and but at the same time, like he's hitting soccer to the point where now they're getting competitive, and he can't quite keep up. And I know that Paralympics exist, but we've had a hard time finding them, even in the Dallas area, for the particular group that would work. We looked at fencing, and they had a couple listed, and then you call them and they're like, well, yeah, we had one kid like 4 years ago who we worked with. And so how do you find that fit when the kids get older and they don't quite fit anywhere? Do you have any advice to anybody on that?
Yeah, that's tricky. I kind of honestly have the same thing with Kate, because there are some programs that were too modified for her, and then, but she couldn't play in a general soccer league. So I definitely think that's a dilemma. I know in and around Austin, and probably in this area too, we have challenger sports. And then it's just, there are some, the Rise Leagues, Challenger, and then Miracle Leagues. I think it's a matter of trial and error. It's literally, kind of going down the list, contacting YMCA, the city parks and rec. They have different teams that are at different levels, and some are super competitive and some aren't super competitive. Maybe just one of those leagues that is less competitive, but a typical league. And it is. I think it's just going down the list.
Some of
Don't
the
you?
churches also run leagues too, and a lot of times those are a little bit less competitive, they're a little bit more inclusive with kids too, and that might be an option. But I think she's exactly right, because, Rise has so many options, and it's almost pushing into, more sports and more things like that. You might be able to find something different that she's interested in, or like she said, each one has a different level of where they are. When we started ours, we had little bitty kids and we were at very basic levels and skills, whereas I know there's other ones out there that are really, more playing the game and scrimmaging and doing those things. Yeah.
One of the things that I want to do, just as a parent next, is figure out how to get, and I know there's one in St. Louis, and mom actually did it, literally a listing of adaptive sports programs in the area, and with a little snippet on, what that program is about in all the different sports, soccer, We don't have one cohesive area where you can go to look up the resources, and it's current.
I found some, but it's not current.
Exactly. So it is, it kind of falls on us as parents to be doing that constant research. So I get it. That led in well just to the resource listing. This was literally off the top of my head and to my knowledge, but your city parks and rec. In Austin, we have a group called CPAP, which is our cerebral palsy, awareness and family group, and they have good resources and listings. Texas Parent to Parent, you guys are probably familiar with. Easter Seals, Early Childhood Intervention Programs, the ARC of Texas, all these organizations have, social workers that know a little bit about recreation and sports, and there may be one that can plug you into something in your area. Your therapist,
Yeah, your therapist.
social workers
Although I'll be the
at
first
your
to tell you,
doctor's
we don't know
office.
all. So there's a lot of resources we just don't even know.
Right, right. So those were some of the things. Yeah. And then my other, big point kind of goes to what you're saying is, I just figured out, from working with Valley and from working out in the community that my job was to help be the educator, because the providers really do want to include our kids and want to be able to provide the services, but sometimes they just don't know how or what's needed. And they can be a little bit nervous that they're not going to be able to serve you and do what is needed. You've always said it really helps when you don't expect perfection. Like, I get in there as a parent and share all the information I have about my kiddo and go, okay, I think that this, and this might work to help them, enable them to be successful.
That was truly what made it easy to start Camp in Motion, because I was scared to death to start camp. But in meeting with Laura and her saying, I don't expect you to be perfect. I know we're going to make mistakes. Let's just acknowledge them, move on, and learn from it. It just became so much easier, because I don't know everything, and I don't know how best to serve everybody. I just know we want to do it. So
Yeah.
her telling me that, it just made it so much easier to start. Let's just do it and just see. We're going to learn. We're going to make mistakes, but it was well worth it. And we learned mistakes. We've learned last summer and this summer. Yeah.
I think it's so true with cerebral palsy. We all know, even though our children all have the same diagnosis, they're all a little bit different and they're all unique. And so even if someone has worked with a kiddo with CP before, they haven't worked with your child and their little ins and outs that make them tick. So that's why I think it's so important to share those. We love therapy. We know they have to do therapy, but at some point, like I said, as a parent, we got there where I had to just look beyond the therapy gym and figure out what is going to motivate her, what's going to keep her going. Assume that she can do it, and we'll figure out a way for her to do it, that she's going to have fun doing it, and getting out there and just explore the options and look for those partners in your community. You never know where you're going to find that right fit. And come to Austin if you want. For Camp in Motion, we are trying to figure out different lodging options that might be available if you feel like taking a road trip.
Is there an extensive wait list?
Not yet. I mean, you can speak more to that. Camp's
Not
pretty
yet.
young.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of great kids sign up this summer, and so we're just anticipating that next summer will be more busy. And you'll probably open enrollment.
Yeah, registration will open on February 1st, and I think I got your information. Yeah, I'll definitely email you. So if I got your information at our table, you'll get an email blast out saying, don't forget registration for this camp opens up, and with any other information before registration. But we have the date set, the flyers out there.
And you can sign up for 1 week or multiple weeks. Just kind of depends how it works.
Yeah.
Yes. Is the Camp in Motion exclusive to cerebral palsy?
It is. We did that intentionally. That's how Dr. Jan models her camp in St. Louis. And, she's kind of the main referral source for kids in St. Louis. So if you're going through Dr. Jan's clinic, she's recommending Camp Independence. And so she naturally fills it up with kids with CP. We honestly really weren't quite sure if we were going to get enough kids with CP at first to fill a camp with just kids with CP, and it was not hard at all. And I think the benefit is that the kids are all there together with people who are functioning, in the same realm, the same world, and the parents get to know each other too. It's a really great way for the community to bond and connect. Now, that being said, there are people with conditions that aren't called CP, that mirror CP and look like CP, and it's a mobility impairment, and it looks and feels the same. We definitely have some of those kids at camp too.
We kind of called ours motor disorders.
Exactly.
Because we've taken some kids who are kind of more motor disorders that aren't necessarily under that CP umbrella.
Exactly.
So,
But that's the qualifying.
I don't know what we'll do with ours, but that's what.
Our flyer says that too.
Okay.
CP or other similar diagnoses.
Yeah.
So the buddies or the volunteers, so if you had a sibling, could they go in as a buddy?
Exactly.
Because I have twins and
Well, it
they don't
depends
want
on
to be
their age
separated.
too. What age are they?
Well, they're still young, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't be, they're only 2.5, but,
Okay.
so I'm trying to find programs that are 3, and I am finding programs at 3, but then they want them to be potty trained.
Right.
Well, my child's not going to be potty trained.
Yeah.
anytime
Right.
soon.
Right. And we found, we started half day at age 4, just because it is so much activity and they're so tired when they're done, and we get to do a half day when we hit 4.
So if you do allow siblings as a volunteer buddy, they don't
You
have to
know,
pay
our
for it?
buddies we start off buddies at age 13.
Oh, okay.
Because they really do need to be able to focus and pay attention. And actually, that's actually a buddy in training. The full speed buddies are at least 15 years old, because they have to be able to help their buddy do the
Participate in the activities, they're actually their hands-on
Exactly.
friend for the whole time they're in camp.
Yeah. I don't know that we've had the case of a same age buddy being a sibling.
And I can see that happening for an older camper.
Yeah.
So they're only actually playing the sport with someone who has a disability, there's not peers that play
So
with
the
them?
daily schedule is laid out and the parents see that. In the morning sessions, it's more clinic, it's more training in the sport. And then in the afternoons is when we do the game that led up, the training led up to the game. So in the mornings, you may do basketball drills, and that's really when we incorporate a lot of our therapy or in those sessions. The therapists are real hands-on with that. And then in the afternoons, they'll have their basketball or baseball game where it's, and they're with their peers the entire camp. They're never singled out and taken.
But there's not typically developing peers with same age with them.
Their buddies are.
Like if I have a 7-year-old, he's not gonna have a 7-year-old friend without a disability who's
Correct.
able to go to camp with him.
Correct, correct.
The buddies are age 13
Yeah.
and older. Yeah. And you know, there are camps, you know, that's more of an inclusion.
Yeah, I'm more of an inclusive camp, I guess.
The purpose of Camp in Motion is more therapeutic, so that, you know, you're training the kids on how to kick a soccer ball. And it's a physical therapist who knows how to train the child to kick that ball. So it's more therapeutic than your soccer league, your camp soccer league, that's an inclusive league. And kids can go that way.
So if by 4 they weren't, for instance, potty trained, do you have someone there to take care of those personal needs as well?
Yes, we do. Okay, cool.
Yep.
We have someone that gives medication, that helps feed, that helps change, that helps personal care.
Yeah. Yep. So I have one more clip I can play if y'all are interested in seeing it. If I can get the computer.
Share some tips with, understand what's happening. We do. Yeah, we've been about a year.
Exercise program.
I think it's actually they're mobility, but that's like fine.
Sorry, I watched the ad. He's working on like the 3 words. Furniture,
Disguised as therapy.
but that is hopefully offset by insurance. So we bill it out as group therapy.
That was about to ask you, what is it billed as?
Billed as group therapy. And of course, every insurance covers a little bit different amount. It's always kind of a toss-up to see what they're going to cover.
So do you guys, do they bill insurance or do you pay for it and then have to run the insurance?
No, we bill the insurance, you don't pay first.
And Dell Children's handles all that part of it, so it's billed through their therapy department, just like everything, you know, if you're
So
receiving.
it's not coming up as YMCA, it's coming up as Bell?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're receiving therapy from Dell Children's, they just run that through their existing billing. If you're not, they get you set up as with a patient account and they bill it as group therapy. And then on top of that, where the fundraising comes in is scholarship funds.
Yeah.
So we really want to try to, you know, not exclude any child because of a financial reason. So